Hello there. Welcome back to Spotty Cat. That's hello from me and hello from
me.
That's Sue and Puss. We're down in Neath today, so Puss is living the life of luxury at home. Why don't we start off with a tale of 3 jugs and so on. Let's start with these two. These two I bought from an antique shop in Llandovery for the glorious sum of £8 each. Now this is, I'd love it to be local, to be Swansea, but I suspect it's more likely to be Staffordshire, but it's hand painted and that glorious sort of freestyle that they have. Then you get into the wind, what is this supposed to be? Is that some sort of extraterrestrial caterpillar? And you just wonder what they were on when they were doing this. I think this is 1820 to 1840. I think it's Staffordshire. There's the base, so you can have a look at that. That'll be the decorator's mark. And at the end of the day or week, they'd tot up how many they'd done. And that's the sort of what we call Sunderland luster, pink luster, just on the edges of the flow blue. But isn't that just absolutely fab? And the next one is another what we'd call dresser jug. It's really unusual, just in terms of actual decoration. And I love these big drips down here. And, in some ways, I think a lot of these really ought to be classed as the forerunners of abstract art. I don't know. Anyway, the shape of this as well, I think it's a little bit later than the one we had previously. I think this is more 1850, I think. Again, the base is just like that. And again, we've got this glorious pink luster down here. I love these things. Anyway, a glorious jug. And so that's about 170 years old. And that was also £8 from an antique shop in Llandovery. And then the last one is, look what we've got here. A bit of who knows what. And the last one is this, which would have been from a tea set. And I think myself that this is probably 1910, 1920. It's, if I turn it upside down, you'll see it's redware as opposed to, and also it's got a made in England on the bottom. And usually these were just plain brown with a couple of sort of yellow stripes across. But this is really unusual in the way it's decorated. Again, this is going to be Staffordshire, I think. And again, you've got these raised lumps of enamel here, etc. But I just find that to be just joyful, actually. Absolutely lovely. And if you look underneath here, you can see a bit of wear. And that's because it would have been hung up on a dresser. And so on. So anyway, that's what we're going to begin with. That's the tale of 3 jugs. I better go and grab something else from over here. And so let's chuck him down. And I think we will also chuck these over from the table over to there. And I'll start off with this. This came from the community shop in. This was from Sartori, sort of larger warehousey shop on the way into Pembroke Dock. They have a shop in Tenby. They have a shop in Pembroke. And I must admit, I find it slightly hard to buy there. But the one I just discovered in Pembroke Dock, I thought they had so many bargains. Anyway, this is a chip-carved Scandinavian nutcracker held together just with a wooden peg. And this was in their cutlery, and it was the glorious price of £1. And I've had a few of these in my time, and I just love the workmanship that goes in. I love the little crown on top of that. It's some sort of stylized animal. I think it's a stylized bird of some sort, although we don't get very many birds like that in our garden. Anyway, that's nice. And again, I think this is I think this is pre-Second World War, but I bet they made them for a lot longer before that and quite a bit of time afterwards as well. Anyway, Scandinavian nutcrackers, and eat your heart out with envy. Now, the next thing I've got is, I don't know if we've actually published yet, but we had a lovely set of glasses with saxophones on,
Yeah, did that one.
made in England. And these also are, when I get round to it, these also are made in England, which is just unusual. I think these have to be 60s or 70s for that fact, really, and they're a really nice set of juice glasses, and I think these were £2 for the set. I don't come across very many retro glasses. They would have had a picture to go with them, but if we lived in paradise, that would be great. We'd have the picture as well. But, and the last thing
I can take a picture.
No, not that sort of picture. A picture, and not the one that they have in the baseball grounds either. All right, a picture that a jug. All right, I'll stop using. They should have come with a glass jug. Okay, and anyway, this is great. This is all of you who live in your sort of Victorian semis and terraces. Will know this sort of thing, because when you walk in the front door, you've got a hanging lamp, and this was the shade that would have been on it from the 1920s, maybe 1930s. The decoration is a bit deco, so this is going to be sort of 90-year-old plus, and this also is from Sartori, and it was the princely sum of £2, which is just a crazy, crazy value for what it is. Anyway, we'll process him over to here, and I'll grab some more things. I think we were getting a little bit too serious. So this is Wallace and Gromit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Shaun the Sheep.
Shaun the Sheep, yeah. And I don't know what he was supposed to do. He's got a little thing on the back, but nothing much happens. And anyway, that was a free gift. They chucked that in for me. Next thing, which I absolutely love, is this, which is obviously is Kingfisher. We were just watching those Kingfisher footage on the Wild Isle last night with Mr. Attenborough. But anyway, underneath here, I don't know if you can see, but it's Artone, and that's made in England. I meant to look up exactly when. I got a feeling this is 60s or 70s. I ought to know Artone, but I don't. He was £2, and I don't know how many Kingfisher.
There's a fish
jugs I've ever had, but this is a fish, and so we better keep this away from the other jug. And and this is I think this is Italian, just because it could actually be British, but I think it's Italian. The amount of work that goes onto that, I just love the sort of mouth of it. It's like sort of it's like they've had Botox, and these squeezed bits on here where they squeeze them with tongs to get the pattern, and these were done with what they call lampwork, which is almost like a handheld Bunsen burner, and to heat up the glass, and then you'd form it. And I cannot remember how much he was, but I mean he's going to be £1, 50 pence, £2, something like that. And the next thing I've got here is, I am, as you know, I won't say obsessed, but interested in Pyrex, and so I ended up with these 3 glass bowls, which I don't think we'll get it onto here, but these are do you know, I cannot. Oh no, they're actually marked proper Pyrex, so they could be made in America.
Turn him upside down and put him down flat.
Okay.
And I'll get the angle.
Yeah, and get it so there's no glare going on.
Yeah, got it. Pyrex. Yep, great.
Yeah. And anyway, I had these from, I think it's the Dog's Protection. in Pembroke Dock High Street. Seems to be my favourite haunt at the moment. Yeah, maybe one day I'll manage to get on a ferry and go off to Ireland. Little yellow stickers, that means they were 50 pence each. I mean, beyond the fact that I absolutely love the colour of them, it's really unusual to see a jadeite Pyrex. The yellow stickers in there, everything's 50 pence. They do the pricing with little coloured stickers, and would have been nice if there'd been 4. But there we go. That's a bit of Pyrex. Now let's go and grab a few more things. Yay. So, let's talk about the plates first. I cannot decide how old these are. This one here, it really looks like what I would expect to be 1950s retro. It was 50 pence, but that's what I do think it is.
He's got a red sticker on it.
Oh, he's got a red sticker on him. Oh, in that case, he would have been £1, I think. Yeah. I cannot remember. I think the red stickers were £1, yeah, from the dog's protection. And but anyway, that's a really sort of stylised retro plate. The back of it, it's it's like a sort of white pottery. I think it's Italian. But I honestly don't know. I don't think it's British anyway. And I almost thought it was going to be metal, with enamel on, the way it's so richly done. And the thickness of the glaze is mad on there. The next one we've got here is Newhall. I'll turn him over so you can see the mark, which is what we're always more interested in. It's so hopeless. Anyway, there's Newhall Hanley, so Staffordshire again. And if I turn him over the other side, this actually is the Hanley pattern, I think. Yes. But what interests me about it is Newhall were the birthplace of Clarice Cliff and Susie Cooper. And I'm almost 100% certain this is a Susie Cooper pattern. Yeah. And I think she kept on doing it. And I think it's all hand-painted. And this was 50 pence. Again, just a delightful bowl, and also very, very interesting. As I say, that could be very, very early. Susie Cooper, who was quite a star in designer British ceramics, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And the next thing I've got is this, which is, it's not a glass, it's a jug. And unfortunately, I haven't...
Jug?
Huh? What's the other one beginning with V? So vase, yeah, I know, yeah, it's a vase, yeah, and it slightly tapers. I don't think it's a drinking glass. I haven't got my black light, so we can't do the dramatic. Why did you buy that? Because I think it's uranium glass and it glows in the dark, and then we've got a paperweight here. He was £1 because he has actually got a crack across the bottom, but you can't see it when it's the other way up. He's not signed at all, but he's clear polished, which implies that he's going to be more likely European, but I think actually he's Chinese. Just looking at him, I think he's Chinese. And then we've just got a few more things to go. I'll move them out of the way. And this I bought. This is it's plastic, imitation tortoiseshell. It's going to be 1930s. I don't think it'd be 50s. And I swear when I bought it, I saw "Made in England" on it. I can't find it anywhere. It must have been my projection. I've looked and looked and looked. But anyway, that's cellulite. It's not cellulite. The other one, plastic. Let's just stick with plastic, It's too thin to be cellulite, isn't it?
Cellulose.
Cellulose, yeah, that's right. And yeah. Anyway, we love early plastic, don't we?
Well, that's if I can find it.
Yeah, no, I've looked and looked, Sue, and I think I just must have been projecting something onto a couple of scratches, quite honestly. And but this would have been English.
Yeah, it's not there.
No. And the next thing I've got is just a modern bit of imitation lead glass, but so nice, to hang in the window, and that was 50p again. But it's just a nice decorative object that needs a little bit of a clean down there, and that imitation lead glass. Now the last thing of objects that we've got is this, which is a copper cloche. And obviously these were meant for putting on your dinners to keep the flies away and to keep them warm. They had various sort of functions. And this originally would have been silver plate. You can just see the remains of here. And turn in the inside, it's still got its tinning, which is nice, because if they've still got tinning, I feel you can still use them. All copper pots were tinned inside, otherwise they turn the food green. Yeah. But one of the most beautiful things about this, apart from the actual lid, which is, I've got to tighten that up, is this, that it's got a cartouche on the side. Maybe that's a bit hard to see. Now, I think that's an arm coming out the top of a lighthouse, grasping an anchor. And I have no idea at all. This came from the High Street in Pembroke, just above the castle, and in Sartoria, actually. And it did cost me £10. But this is an inlaid cartouche, silver cartouche, otherwise it would have worn off. And someone said to me that they were thinking perhaps it came off a boat. And perhaps it did.
A ship.
Yeah, a ship. Is that, yeah. Boats are the little ones, ships are the big. Yeah, boats wouldn't have had like a restaurant, would they? No, I understand. And should we do? Oh, let's get vaguely into these. I almost thought we should have done a special short just on these. No, I tell you what, I'm gonna taunt you. Okay, so I think we might do a 5 or 10 minute short on these because they're so funny, and so. I guess that this is goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from
me,
and it's goodbye from Spotty Cat. Ta-da, folks.